Yo, what's going on, you guys? Today we have 10 food we have never seen before until visiting the UK. As you guys know, I've never been to England, I've never been to the UK, I've never been to any of these countries, but I would love to visit. I love the UK, man. I love how green it is. I love you guys' history. I love you guys' culture. And I've done a video in the past, man, of how good y'all food looks. So this video, man, I already know I'm gonna love this video. But before we get into the video, let me tell you guys this. We started this channel so we can get to know you guys better. We started this channel so we can get to know you guys' culture, get to know you guys' likes, you guys' dislikes, you guys' food, you guys' music, all of it, the whole culture, you know. That's why we started this channel. So if you could leave a like, that would be great. If you could comment, that would be amazing. But if you could subscribe, that would be even better. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get straight to the video. Come on.
Wore a pair of woolen socks for a month, took them off, dipped them in toilet water, and then stuffed them right into your mouth.
But it had to be like warm toilet water too.
Warm toilet water. Oh. Hey guys, I'm Eric.
And Grace. We're the Wandering Ravens.
We're a couple of digital nomads who have been wandering around the world for over 3 years, and we make videos about travel and culture.
If either of those topics interests you, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the little bell icon so that you can get notified every time we release a new video.
Okay. Today we're introducing you to 10 foods we had never seen before going to the UK.
Come on.
This video was chosen by voters on our YouTube community page, so if you want to have a say in future topics that we discuss on this channel, make sure you subscribe.
And vote. Are you ready?
Yes, let's do this.
I'm ready.
Marmite. So Marmite is essentially just a really salty
Marmite. Marmite. Okay. I just did a video trying Australian food or snacks, right? They had something called Vegemite. Is that similar to that? Cause if it is nasty, bro. Bruh, I tried it. You guys should go watch that video. I tried it. I tried the Vegemite. Oh my goodness, that was the worst thing I ever had. That was the worst thing I ever had in my life, man. I'm not lying to you guys. This thing was pretty bad. It was bad.
Extract that is spread on toast and butter. So you have bread and butter.
So basically the same thing.
The first and only time I've had Marmite, I had one question burning in my head, and that was, why?
Bro, that's exactly what I like. What was going through my head when I tried that Vegemite thing? Why? Oh my goodness, man.
No.
Was it salty?
Yeah. It tasted basically like...
It was salty, and it had a strong taste to it, man. And I didn't like that at all.
Someone had taken butter, taken all of the good flavor out of the butter, and just heaped on salt, maybe mixed in a little bit of a greasy meat flavor, and then just across a piece of bread. We're really starting this video on a high note with the food that we dislike, but we just had to get this out of the way. Marmite, to our taste buds, was just...
strange.
Very strange.
Now the question is, which came first? Marmite or Vegemite?
Oh.
And is Marmite something that people
So it is the same thing,
or is
basically.
this just a, it's alright sort of food? Let us know down below. Clotted cream. So clotted cream is a very thick, buttery, just
that looks good though. I would try that.
Cream. It is delicious. The first time I had it was in the UK. It was incredible. I loved it. And every time I had scones, scones.
I've heard in the UK you can pronounce it scones or scones, and it's a regional thing. Is that right?
Please don't bite my head off. In America, we say scones. Not trying to be offensive. Your clotted cream is very good. Very good.
I had always assumed clotted cream was one of those things you read in books and not really something that people ate anymore. You know, it's just like something that's...
You hear about it?
Yeah, not really any...
I mean, the picture they showed, that thing looked real good.
Some form of like cottage cheese or other cheese.
That's what I was gonna say.
Thing.
Growing up, when we heard about clotted cream being a thing in the UK, I always assumed it was a cottage cheese consistency. Okay. So some sort of cheesy cream with big curds in there.
It doesn't actually sound horribly pleasant based off of the name, but it is super good.
It looked good.
And I ate lots of it before I found out I couldn't eat dairy. Crumpets!
Crumpets.
So in the States we always joke about having tea.
On the video I did reacting to the best street food for the in the UK, Crumpets, I think I had put down my notes that I had to try.
Crumpets, but then when we went to the UK, we were like, oh wow, crumpets are really a thing.
Yeah, it was really shocking for me because I had always assumed that crumpets were a kind of cookie, biscuit. And so when we arrived in the UK and I found out that crumpets are these massive bread things, they're very similar to what we would call an English muffin in the United States. For my American friends, they're just a massive English muffin. So just seeing those in person was very...
Oh, they're real! Crumpets are real! Oh yes, when I was growing up, somebody told me that, in the UK, do you guys have these things called Nilla wafers? They're like little round biscuit things.
Yeah.
And they're vanilla flavored. And when I was growing up, I was told that the English people call these crumpets.
Really?
And so I believed that Nilla wafer cookies were crumpets.
Question for you, how do you eat a crumpet? Because we just found them in the shop, and so the way we ate them was I'd put them in a toaster and then lather them in butter and have them with breakfast. But is there a specific meal time or way to eat crumpets? Let us know down in the comments. Pork pie. From what we understand, pork pies are basically a bunch of chopped up pork wrapped in a thick, greasy pork jelly stuffed inside of a pastry shell and then baked.
And sometimes this pastry shell is in the shape of a loaf, like it's baked in a loaf pan, and other times it's round like an actual,
like a pie.
Like a pie.
Again, I don't
reaction to pork pie was that it was pretty disgusting. And I know that sounds really harsh. We're not trying to be culturally insensitive, but just, taste, you're used to the taste you grew up with, and it does take a little bit to adjust to the food of a new culture. A couple of things that made pork pie really different for us were, one, it's served cold. At least all the times that we had it, it was cold.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which in America, you don't really ever eat cold meat. Only a few very rare dishes.
Yeah, maybe a sandwich.
But if you're gonna have a pie, it's always hot. So that was a bit odd to begin with. And then another thing was the pork jelly. So these pork pies have this thick layer of fat around them. And so every bite you take there's a bit of meat, a bit of crust, and then just
do you guys like
a bunch of fat.
Tell me in the comments, is that something you guys like? If so, how often do you eat it?
Americans don't really like their animal fat. They really, if you have a piece of steak, you're cutting off the fat and you're not eating that part.
That's true.
You skim the fat off of soups, you don't eat that. So that is a big hurdle for us to overcome when it comes to eating food in the UK, is that there is a lot of animal fat. And so just the way we grew up was not eating animal fat. Pork pies are full of this thick animal fat. And so that was a shocking thing for us.
Understandable.
Experience.
We've had the same reaction when visiting Asia, and we've tried foods there. Fatty texture to them. Like eel, we had eel in Japan, and it had that really fatty texture to it, and we both just, it's a no-go at that rate. If it's like, it feels like you're eating your tongue. Really bad.
I understand what you mean.
But we're not judging you guys. We're not saying it's bad food. We're just saying that the taste that we grew up with, it's a different set of taste.
Yeah, I don't think I would like it either. Again, even if it was like, let's say beef, for example. I don't eat pork. Let's say it was beef and they had the fat on it. I don't think I would like it. It's just the texture, it's just not. I don't think it's something that I'm used to, and same thing for them also.
We are very brave eaters, and we are happy to try new things. And also, if there's a cultural food that we dislike, we tend to try it again and again and again and eventually acquire a taste for it. Like we did that with a lot of food in Korea and Japan. And so we are very happy to continue eating.
I don't know, man. I'm different, bro. Like when it comes to food, if I don't like it, it's gonna be very, very hard for me to try it again. But I will try it though. Like if I could eat it, I will try it. But if I don't like it, it'll be very, very difficult for you to get me to try it again.
In the UK.
Yes.
I won't be avoiding it in the future just because it's an odd dish for me, if that makes sense.
I feel like we could really easily acquire a taste for it as well because it's savory. It has a good flavor.
Very hearty.
Yeah, it is. Haggis. This is a Scottish food that is made out of sheep's heart liver and lung, and is cooked in a sheep's stomach.
Okay,
Or at least
explain that
to the
to
best
me,
of my
please.
knowledge, this is what a haggis is.
And it also has a lot of spices and I think oats and other things like that all mixed in. Now, in contrast to pork pie, you would assume haggis to be a food that Americans dislike because, you know, it's got all those organs in it. And Americans are famous for being picky when it comes to organ meat.
That's true.
But I actually freaking loved haggis. It was so good.
Okay.
I had multiple helpings over multiple days. And a huge shout out to our friends Connie and Jeff, who you can see in this video here, who actually brought a haggis from the UK to France for us to eat with them. It was really good. For my American friends, haggis tastes a lot like American biscuits and gravy.
Okay.
So good, so
Okay.
good.
So like a ground beef sort of thing?
Get
Okay.
ground beefy, and it's got that gravy flavor. We had haggis, I think, with mashed potatoes, didn't we?
Neeps and tatties.
Oh, neeps and tatties. Yeah. Pasties.
Pasty.
So a pasty
Okay,
is a
I've seen
baked
that.
pastry.
I've seen that also in the other video. Yeah, this also is in my notes to try when I get to the UK.
That is stuffed with meat and vegetables. And
I'm kind of used to this because I eat Jamaican patties a lot, and it's, you know, it's just a patty, like, you know, you got dough, you put meat inside of it. Yeah, I've seen stuff like this before, but I would love to try it.
delicious as it sounds.
For my American friends, it looks like a calzone, but it's better.
When we first visited the UK,
looks
we
good.
did not know how to pronounce this food. We didn't know whether it was pasty or pasty. And thankfully, our good friend Sean was able to set us straight and tell us that it was a pasty before we made too big of fools out of ourselves.
And from what we've heard from our friends in the UK, the origin story behind pasties is that they come from the city of Cornwall. And way back in the day, there were these miners working under the ground, and they were working with some toxic material.
Yeah, they did say that in the video I watched.
I don't remember which one it was. And so they had a problem, which was every time it came time to eat lunch, they would touch the food, the toxins would get from their hands to the food, they would eat the food and poison themselves. So in an effort to keep from poisoning themselves, pasties were invented, and that's why they have the crimped edge, is because the miners would hold that crimped edge while they eat, and then the toxins would only get on the crimped edge, and then they'd finish and throw the crimped edge away.
But that's the best part! I want to learn how to make them. If you have any good pasty recipes, drop them in the comments below.
Question: if I try to make some like British dish, I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be good, but would y'all be interested in that? Like, would y'all watch that video? I would really try though. I would really try to make something. Tell me in the comments, man. Would y'all be interested in that?
Know if the origin story that we've heard behind pasties is fact or fiction. Mushy peas!
Mushy peas.
Mushy peas? Mushy peas?
Mushy?
Mushy peas.
Mashy.
I think it's mushy. We go with mushy?
Mushy.
Mushy.
I think it's mushy.
Mushy. It's
Mushy.
so
People are gonna be like, they're saying the same thing! They're
Oh.
saying the same
I don't
thing!
I think, well, in the States, we pronounce it mushy, so I'm assuming it's mushy, is
Yes.
the UK.
I also think that it's mushy.
Mushy. So, besides that small linguistic difference, there was another thing to be said about mushy peas. The first time we encountered it was in London. We were at this pub. I ordered fish and chips, and it came
Fish
to
and
the
chips.
side of the mushy peas.
I love fish and chips.
And at first glance, I thought, is that wasabi? Or something like that. Yeah, it was very confusing. And then I decided I'd take a bite and see, and I lifted it up with a spoon, and okay, those are peas. I see they're just smashed peas, basically. And then I ate it, and then that's when my mind really exploded.
What is this?
Yeah.
Taste buds are so confused
Very
because the
confused.
flavor is not really something, it's not really a flavor combination that you would ever imagine.
Yeah. What mushy peas are is peas smashed and infused with mint and
Mint?
sugar?
Yes.
Because there's a bit of sweetness to it
Yeah,
as
so
well.
it's kind of like a
That's
sweet
interesting.
side that goes with savory things, but it's peas and mint.
Yeah.
That's
Which
interesting.
is not a combination you would see in this.
This is why I love like the first video I reacted to them. That's why I love it, because they give me a new perspective. They showing me new things that I haven't seen in other videos. So yeah, I like them a lot. I'm gonna continue to react to them because I'm actually learning a lot.
I was very surprised, pleasantly surprised though, because it's not a bad combination. To practice my subdued British compliments, it wasn't bad. Digestives.
Digestives.
Now, unlike the name suggests,
Yeah.
I don't think that this is actually for digestion purposes.
Yeah.
Is it?
What?
When you hear digestives here, you thinking like something that would just make you, go number 2. That's yeah. That's the only thing that comes to mind.
Are digestives called digestives? Because the name does not match the wonderful beauty which is the cookie. Biscuit.
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 Yeah, get it right, man.
I had never heard of digestives before going to the
Me
UK.
neither.
Have you?
No.
Yeah. So it was a pleasant surprise. The folks we were staying with had a pack of digestives in the cupboard, and for a few days I avoided it because it.
I think I tried that in my UK snacks video. I might have tried that.
Just, it doesn't. The word digestives makes you think of some healthy organic cracker, which is full of-
Laxative.
Yeah,
It's full of like flax or something. It's supposed to bring on the
That's what comes to mind. Laxative. When I heard digestive. Yeah, when I hear that, the only thing that comes to mind to me is laxative. That's it.
movement.
I was thinking it was a flax biscuit, basically. But then eventually, we pulled them out, served them up, and they were delicious.
And after that, for the rest of our time staying in the UK, we didn't stay anywhere longer than a day or two and not get a package of digestives and put them in the cupboard.
Yeah, they're so good. Dipping them in tea or dipping them in coffee. I hope that's what you're supposed to do. That's what we did.
Stinking Bishop.
Stinking
Now,
Bishop.
this is a type of cheese
Okay.
that is washed in fermented pear juice. And like the name suggests, it is extremely smelly. It makes all of the lists. If you Google stinkiest cheeses on earth, this is on all of the lists.
Oh,
and
wow.
yes, we actually had some.
This was at a cheese shop in Bath. We stayed there for 5 days. Not the cheese shop, but the city. And
Basically,
Does it taste good though?
the cheese shop though. We went there like every day.
we went to the cheese shop every single day and would buy 200 grams of cheese and then go eat them for dinner. And then sample a whole bunch. And it was really fun. The shopkeeper was a blast and would have us, make great conversation, let us try different things. And so that day, we were like, okay, we've been pretty brave so far, trying some pretty crazy cheeses. What is the stinkiest cheese in this shop? And he said, have you seen Wallace and Gromit and the Curse of the Were-Rabbit?
We said yes. And he said, well, this cheese has a cameo in Wallace and Gromit and the Curse of the Were-Rabbit. And following that movie's release, the sale of Stinking Bishop went up by about 500%.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Amazing.
So we tried it, and my gosh, it was literally the worst thing I've ever put in my mouth. The way
Literally the worst.
I've described it in the past is it was like someone wore a pair of woolen socks for a month, took them off, dipped them in toilet water, and then stuffed them right into your mouth.
But
Is that really that bad though? Has anyone of you guys actually tried it before? Tell me in the comments,
like
please.
warm toilet water. Chip.
Warm toilet water.
It was just
So
nasty. And in the movie, if you have not seen The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, in the movie, this cheese is used to, I believe, bring Wallace back from a state of unconsciousness. He is either unconscious.
It waft the cheese.
Yes, and they make him walk the cheese while he's unconscious, and then he
That's
wakes up
hilarious.
because the smell is that powerful. And the smell would not wash off our hands for several days.
Wow.
Just a realistic question for you guys. Is Stinking Bishop the type of cheese that you actually eat for pleasure? Like, is there a scenario in which you're having a dinner party and you take out the Stinking Bishop and everyone's like, this is such great cheese? Or is it more of just like a novelty
That's
thing?
interesting.
Like,
Tell me in the
Yeah.
comments
this was in
too,
Wallace and
please.
Gromit. Oh, it's so funny. I'll give it to my nan for Christmas. That's a joke.
Toad in a hole. When we were in
Toad
the
in a
UK,
hole.
we went over to some friend's house.
That looks
Actually,
amazing.
Connie and Jeff, who we mentioned earlier.
I would love to try
and
that.
we had this great conversation all about foods which we love. And one of the topics that came up was toad in a hole. And toad in a hole, I think Jeff mentioned it offhandedly. You know, toad in a hole is a great dish. And we were like, yeah, it's not bad. You know, it's all right. And then we continued talking about toad in a hole, and then realized, I don't remember how exactly we realized, but that we were talking about different things.
Okay.
Because in America, toad in a hole looks like this, while in the UK, toad in a hole.
I mean, I've seen
like
it before,
this.
but I ain't know the name
If
of
I'm
it.
being perfectly honest, I think the American toad in a hole
Hold on one
makes it
second.
Like this.
I like the sausage
the
one
American
better though.
toad in a hole makes a little bit more sense.
And like it actually looks
in
like
the
something
picture,
in a hole.
Yeah, it's something in a hole. Whereas
Yeah.
like the UK version doesn't quite look like a toad in a hole. Although, to be fair, it does look better, more tasty to me.
Yeah, but the American one is just toast with egg. So it's a bit boring.
Yeah, it is a bit boring. Some mom is like, how can I make this breakfast different than yesterday? I know! I'll chop a hole in the piece of bread and throw an egg in there. British toad in a hole is sausages that are baked into Yorkshire pudding. In America, we eat toad in a hole for breakfast. In the UK, is it the same way? Is toad in a hole a breakfast dish or is it a lunch dish? And is it for certain holidays? No, that's what I'm wondering, because it does look like kind of a festive dish.
And now we're going to turn the conversation over to you. If you've been a tourist in the UK, what was a food that surprised you?
And if you are British, what is a food that you would recommend we try on our next visit to the UK? Drop it in the comments below.
Again, I'm Eric.
And I'm Grace.
We're the Wandering Ravens.
And
man, again, this video was very, very insightful. I just can't wait to go, man. I can't wait to go to the UK. When I go, I'm trying everything, man. And I'm gonna make videos like this also, just so I can see my reaction to them. Man, I can't wait to go, cause there's so many things I want to try. There's so many places I want to see. There's so many food I want to try. Oh man, soon enough, right? Soon enough. Again, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.